Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As we start this program, you could pick up the telephone and call. We never have a subject matter. We speak on anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues. We on RealFM 91.9, 91.5. We on We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York, 94.9. We on YouTube and Facebook. And you could put us wherever else you want. We want to encourage you to share our program, like our program. Even if you don't like the program, share it, because sometimes your friends don't like it too. So inform them about it. And remember, the number to call is 442-0175. No preamble. Just pick up the telephone, call, punch. Make you import the most important point first. If we have time, we deal with the others. Yes, the United States of America, Syria government fall. Assad. In the space of 13 days, they overrun the government of Assad. A number of factors take place. Russia is busy in Ukraine. They couldn't provide all this attention to Assad. So while they provide some bombing cover for him, that didn't help him. And the government fall, and we have some opportunistic and parasitic predators. The United States of America, Israel, Turkey, Iran, and Russia. Their interests they concern about. Israel bombed more than 500 sites and places in Syria. United States maybe 80 and 90. And Turkey also bombing. And Russia and Iran is engaging the new potential leader to make sure their port is safe. That is what you call parasite. It's not Syria that's important. It's the imperial power interest. Venezuela have the greatest oil reserve in the world. If you believe Guyana have oil, and if you put all the oil that Guyana have in a boat, Venezuela have a sea of oil. But instead of selling the oil and developing the country, Venezuela squander their money, their energy, and their time in trying to spread socialism. Marxist-Leninism is not a good system. It's an atheist system. They don't believe in God. And they want to jail all those who they can control. They believe that if you have 15% of the population, you could control the rest. You could jail them, murder them, and imitate and intimidate them. That is why Maurice Bishop in Grenada jailed 3,000 Grenadians. That was about 4% of the population. And every time I speak about that, I say jail 3,000. Because that is the 3,000 he signed the order for. But more than 5,000 taste prison. Some of them for 2 weeks and 3 weeks. One gentleman went to prison because a Pierre played with his tennis racket and he objected. Jail. A woman from the Holy Comforter, she went to prison because members of the NWO come to the Holy Comforter to have a meeting that they publicize. Nobody showed. They stopped to buy in a shop and they didn't satisfy with the service that she provided. She spent 2 weeks in jail. Well, she was saved. Maurice Bishop didn't sign the order because Maurice Bishop did not sign the order for anybody from the Holy Comforter. I don't know if he feared the Holy Spirit, but no one from the Holy Comforter, Maurice Bishop did not sign the order to detain them. When Fargo go in jail, was the magistrate that sent him in jail. He said a thief he will. He go to the police and report. The police asked him to behave himself. But he decided he loved Bishop so much And he believed that if bishops say weed is legal, then the police should act. They brought him in front of the magistrate and they gave him 2 years in prison. And in Grenada today, we have Dick Mitchell and a group of vultures. They prey on the elderly, the physically challenged, and disadvantaged children. There is an old saying, let me see how the government treats the elderly, and let me see how the government treats children, and you're going to know what type of government you have. I see this government as vultures. I watch the way they attack the elderly, the physically challenged. I heard the cry of Shirley and Robinson. How disadvantaged children were not able to continue school because the government removed money from them. I watch how the government put garbage on a playing field in Carriacou after a disaster. You don't have to believe me. Go and ask any psychologist in the world if that is correct. You have a disaster. School is not likely to reopen. And you take garbage and pack on the school field. The burial provided traumatic circumstances for the children in Carriacou. And any blind educator would have known that the playing field could almost be therapeutic. Nothing was done. Nothing was done to address the fact that you did not expect school to open on time. People had to scream out. I watched the long delay in the attitude of government to fix a few sheets of galvanized on MacDonald College. The government refused to exercise the opportunities they had. What is the opportunities they had? They could have sent the children, some of the children, in schools based upon the proximity to their home. Form 1 and Form 2. Montrose, Grenville Secondary, St. Joseph Convent, SAS, the school in Paul's, in Walton. There was absolutely no need to stagger in session. You could have a 2-shift system in MacDonald College. I watch how the government fuck up 4-pass playing field and ignoring it. And this is why I consider them as vultures. They prey on the weak. They prey on the physical challenge. And they prey on disadvantaged children. This present government wiped the slate clean. You know, you have a blackboard, a slate, and you have formulas on it. You have history on it. You have reference on it. You have important dates on it. And a new teacher come in the school, and because of the juvenile attitude, because of their ignorance, because of their lack of respect, they pick up a duster and wipe the slate or wipe the blackboard clean. No, they are making mistakes that politicians made decades ago. Mistakes that people stopped making. This government is making it. And they are making it because they were political neophytes who were more greedy for money and luxurious life, like the butcher of the Congo and Abdul Malik. When you have that, you turn the country back decades. The damage that this National Democratic Congress is doing to the country, we will take decades to fix it. Some of the damage are not tangible. You're not seeing it. It's not tangible damages. Take, for instance, the attitude of the government to the financial institution. This government seems to raid the financial institution for their own selfish benefit. What could drive a prime minister to ignore foreign affairs and enter another country? The governor of Lagos State said he came in secretly. He's sneaking in a country. When you are head of a state, this is unacceptable. You don't do that. And the prime minister happened to be a lawyer, so he ought to know. What drives a prime minister in Grenada who originated from the lower income group? He wasn't part of the petty bourgeoisie. What could drive him to promote classism? And remember, yeah. Remember, the number to call is 442-0175. And this program is about you. I only speak while I await your call. Pick up the telephone and call on any subject matter. That is what would make our democracy strong. When you continue to express yourself. You don't have to agree with me. In fact, I welcome you taking me on. I say to you, when I come on this program, I want to speak the truth. I'm not speaking from a script. So I may not speak the truth sometime, but you dare to correct me. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre, and how are you?
Great, man. Good.
Yes, we are great. Well, I want to speak about that convention Sunday, please, God, on behalf of that convention. Now, we might have our choice, but let God choose who we want, and whosoever God say to be the leader, let us all bind ourselves together and support. But to me, as I say, Grenada is our. We are Grenadians. We are citizens with our Grenada, and we had not to say we don't want the men among, because remember, women come out from the rib of a man. So we need the men, and the men need us. So we want to unite together. But for what I'm going to say, we had so much man heading already. So to me, I find we could make Grenada proud with a woman leader and as a prime minister. Other places make the country proud with a woman prime minister, leader. So I find we in Grenada here could make a little change, if God permit us to do it. And let our little island proud with a woman prime minister, a leader as a prime minister. So, and what we like, if ever that happen, I would like for the men to stand behind that person and build Grenada. Don't have no animosity against one another, because we all are brothers and sisters. So if it's his choice to put Miss Emmeline Pierre as the leader, I would like for all the men, whether they please, whether they don't please, that we should they should stand with her, and the women and them stand behind her to build Grenada, not for her to build her, is to build our country. Not we love the men and them, because without a man, it would not have a woman, because God make man first, and before he make a woman, he find the men should not have be alone. He took a sleep, he put him in a deep sleep. He took out a rib and he made. So that is what I have to say. So let us join and let us don't bicker against one another, whether who took there and who this and who that. And if it's Miss Emmeline Pierre, Honorable Emmeline Pierre, God choose, say that she have to be the leader, let she be, and let all men, whether who on NNP, whether who on NDC, whether who on what, let like for them to rally around her and build Grenada in the next coming election if she's elected there to be the Prime Minister. God bless you. That is my view today. God bless you. Have a blessed day.
Well, I think that's a very powerful statement, and we in Grenada have always given women the fair chance. Remember, we had a woman governor before there were a woman governor in the Caribbean. And the Grenada United Labour Party had 3 women running for election before most of the Caribbean countries contemplated a woman. The majority of our principals are women. The majority of our teachers, the most among the permanent secretary were women. And we had an equal number of strong women in the trade union. So in all fairness, Grenada men have not stand in the way of our women. We have promoted our women, we have worked with them. And if you have an interview with the women who are in politics, they would tell you that our men have treated them fairly. I happened to speak to about 8 women who was involved in politics, about 3 of them on the radio. And I asked the question, and they had no problem working with our men. We have had no big issues between man and woman in politics. Not even sexual issues. We have not had none. So it tells you the great respect we have had. Both individuals have been in the party, and it seems both of them are capable of leading the country. So we wish them well. And yes, Monday morning, the NNP should be a stronger party, not only for NNP, but for Grenada and the Caribbean. They need to be a stronger party. Now that you have 2 parties running for the leadership, they will be ruffled. And there might be statements made that ought not to have been made. But it's a democracy. And you're putting your best foot forward to win. But the NNP must be stronger. It doesn't matter who wins. We must endorse the leader and work with them. It is important because we have this government there is a disaster. That is a group of vultures, poor people terrorists. They flaunt the law with impunity. And if they continue that trajectory, we're going down a precipice fast. I don't know what's going to happen to this country after 5 years. I hear the NNP say they're rescuing. But they must inform the public that is a difficult task. A very difficult task. This present regime is decaying the very fabric of our society. They're creating bitterness and animosity among people. They fired the workers from Carriacou and Grenada that worked 3 to 19 years with government. And the only thing the Prime Minister said, let her go in court. The Prime Minister knows that it's difficult for these workers to fight in court. He knows case like that would take 9, 10 years in court. And by that time, those poor workers bankrupt. But that was his callous and reckless and indifferent attitude to the people in the lower income group. This present government lie without compunction. And this Prime Minister in particular have told more impactful lies than all other governments put together since 1967. It is difficult for me to understand why Dick Mitchell is so bitter. You see, if he was in politics before, let's say like Nazim Buck, Peter David, Keith Mitchell, Emmeline Pierre, or Miss Modeste, you would have said that people have said so much things about these people. That's why they're bitter. He is brand new to politics. So why is it he introduced restorative justice? And I must adopt the comment made by another radio personality. Is Dr. Deceiver. Why did he adopt restorative justice? Why the Prime Minister took $15 million and give it to MIT for housing? You have a Ministry of Housing and you have the Ministry of Construction. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar.
Hi. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
I just wanted to let Andre know that...
Andre not on this program now, you know.
No,
okay.
I just want him to know that I just received a call that RealFM is having a Zoom meeting this afternoon. So if you could please advise people, do not fall for that.
Who having a meeting?
Because RealFM is having a Zoom meeting this afternoon. I'm calling all the way from
the scammers.
Just to let him know that. So please advertise that that's not true.
Thank you very much, God.
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right, Mr. Pierre, take care. Happy holidays.
We always had to deal with scammers. Scammers have done some damage to the radio program already. And so we do everything possible to guard against scammers. And sometimes this is what make me, if I could have cried, I might have wear a tear like Obama. Because while we go in full speed, or people might say breakneck speed, to make our country cashless, a lot of our people are left behind because they are not knowledgeable about the internet and the computer system. And we are hearing stories where the credit unions have been scammed. And a number of people are complaining that they lost money. And I believe more of our people would lose their life savings. It is not necessary for us to go breakneck speed to be digital. It's not necessary. It is not necessary for this government to fight to be a cashless society. We need to educate our people. We cannot say we don't care. That is what I find so baffling about this government. The manner in which they ignore genuine questions. The manner in which they ignore the cry of the people and genuine concerns. And there are so much as supporters of this government that seems to be enjoying the discomfort and the misery that the government policy is having on the people in the lower income group. I don't know what they expect to do with the economy. From the time this government come in power, they have been doing more to increase the cost of living. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, scholar, welcome.
Which government were going cashless? Which government were fighting the war cashless?
This government of Dick Mitchell.
Fighting the war cashless?
Yes.
Mr. Pierre, when you know saying hush that mouth, Mr. Pierre, how a government could go cashless? I don't understand you. Anyway, Mr. Pierre, let me tell you something.
So you want to go back on the cashless thing? You ask how a government could go cashless. You don't know that this is one of the objectives of many governments?
To go cashless?
No cash. So you want to buy a soft drink in town, you buy it with your phone. That is what the government is aiming to do. You go in the fish market and you want to buy fish, but you have to buy it with your phone.
Well, I'm going on already. They're going on.
Caller. I'm not saying caller. When you say paperless, paper, the money we have is paper, you know.
Paperless, meaning that, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, no government in America, they can go cashless.
Okay, caller. Vinu kai where?
Mr. Pierre, I hear already call and talking about giving woman a chance, give woman a chance. Mr. Pierre, people have to own the chance. You can't go and say give somebody a chance. Peter David is the most qualified person for the job.
You campaign for Peter David?
I campaign for him, but I say why.
Wait now. So caller. I expect caller.
The foreign minister of this country. He was the champion in NDC, and now he was the agriculture minister. He have caught. He was in the revolution. Mr. Just come out just one day. Only thing she was in education. What she do? Peter David was all around the place. He was foreign minister. Foreign minister is one of the most difficult jobs in this country. She only bring education, doing little and nothing. Mr. Pierre, you have a good day.
Yes, sir. You know what is interesting in this NNP convention? I think a lot of the conventional or the NDC members realize that Dick is a political lunatic and he would end up in the dustbin of politics. And they're hoping they could salvage a leader from the NNP. Grenada is interesting politics. The fervor and the passion in which I see solid members of the NDC fighting to get what they want in NNP, that must be worrying to conventional and traditional and those NNP that like to say their blood is green. It must be of concern to them. Why the NDC, who like to say the blood is yellow, so interested in salvaging the pride from NNP leadership? They realize they have made a blunder of grandiose proportion. They bought a cat in a bag and they get Dick. And definitely now they realize Dick is a political lunatic that would end up in the dustbin of Grenada history where politics is concerned. And they're fighting to salvage a leader from the NNP they could hatch onto. It is interesting politics. It's sad that you cannot get some NDC stalwart to discuss this issue. Yes, caller, welcome. It's sad that you cannot get... The radio in the background. The radio in the background. The device in the background. Close it down. Yes, go ahead, caller.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Alexa.
What Alexa is?
Mr. Pierre,
yes.
It's an instrument.
Okay.
I want to say something, please. It seems as though our people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, I don't know if they're going mad or they're going crazy or whatever. The thing about it is, Peter David is a man that I like. Emmeline Pierre is a lady that I love. But The NNP party is a party that I would say part of my belly string. And I want to advise Peter, David, that if he really, really wants to be a leader, just form a party. What is the beat up about being in NNP and being an NP leader? He could just form a party and he could call it PNP, Peter New Party, or Peter National Party. And then that have no problem. I don't know if I go in a man house and you have your wife there and they have confrontation and whatever. It's either tell the man you have to build a house for me, or I move away from the man because this confrontation don't make no sense. So that is my thing for this morning. And I think before I leave, I think Grenada deserve a woman to lead. Because you know why? The hand that rocked the cradle rules the world. Too much problems with these men and them now. Too much confusion. Mr. Peter advise you, leave the NNP and form your own party. All right? Don't go on thing. I don't know if you want to say, well, look, NNP did this and I was in NNP and NNP did this or whatever. You have to show the world that you are a strong, dynamic leader by forming your own party. Mr. Pierre, have a wonderful evening and also a blessed weekend.
Yes, but we always have to remember, in all fairness, we men have promoted our women in our country. And I don't think it's really a hassle between man and woman. Some people might say, well, it's good for us to have a woman as a leader. And I think she's well qualified to be the leader. In the NNP party, I said repeatedly, Kate Lewis would do a better job than Dick Mitchell. Dick Mitchell is a terrorist. He's poor people terrorist. Kate Lewis, one of the youngest members of NNP, would do a much better job. Yolande Ben Joseph, Miss Modeste, almost all the women in the top echelon of NNP could do a good job. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, I want to deal with two subject matter and piggyback on what I said relative to the pension reform law yesterday. There's a critical aspect of this law that is proposed where 3% would be of the money that will go into the fund, or there's a fund that is proposed where you'll have a board of directors, or if you might call it a corporation, where you have board of directors similar to NASA, NIS, and so on and so on. And 3% of the people's salary or the workers' salary will be taken from their money. 3% would be paid by the government into the pension fund. Now, as much as I'm no genius in maths, like Dr. Kit Mitchell and so on, I don't ever remember failing a maths exam yet. My marks used to be late 70s and middle 80s. So I kind of could count still. We have a situation where 3%, that add up to 6%. So let's say a person is working for $100, that's $6.
That's system boss already.
That will be placed into the fund. That will be placed into the fund or the pension fund. NIS people who are part of the NIS pay more than that. And at the end of it, ask the people who are collecting money from NIS, how much they get in a month.
That system boss already.
Well, listen,
Yeah, he bossed it.
the old pension law, the 1958 pension law, it is
30.
two-thirds of your original salary that you'll be collecting based on that law. Two-thirds, which is around 66%. Let's put it that way. Now you have, let's say you've been working for $1,000 a month. You'll be getting,
66.
let's say $600. That's for a person working for $1,000.
This thing don't good color. This thing bust already.
I didn't hear you.
I said this proposal bust before it start.
Well, the thing is obnoxious.
That's laughable.
Point out here. The NIS people who get money from NIS get very little or no money after they had paid all this money for all these years. 6% in a pension fund for the people must be a lot worse than the money that is proposed in the 1958 pension law, which is after you make over 26 years, you'll be entitled to two-thirds of your salary. Do the maths. So the whole thing doesn't sound like sense all for now.
No, that's not a term, man. This thing don't good.
I don't understand how they would get that past the union. Except the people in the union cannot calculate too.
Well, if the union calling on them to fire workers, Jude going to agree with it?
I understand, but here I want to deal with that
All right, next one.
Peter David issue that people are afraid to really handle in the most objective way, as far as I'm seeing it. When Peter David came into the party, or invited to the party, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Even though I know the leopard type of person that he is, along with a lot of them too. He was invited to the party, the first party convention that was held after he came in, after he became associated with, was held in SAS. That same meeting, they rallied after that, Andrew Holness, the present Prime Minister of Jamaica, well, he was Prime Minister even then, he was in that meeting. Peter David made a speech in that meeting. And in that speech, Peter David said he didn't come here to be leader. He made that absolutely clear. I was prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt still. I stood outside of the fence and listened to the meeting most of the time. There was a guy standing close to me when Peter made that statement that he didn't come here to be leader. The guy made a snide comment. Very snide, very skeptical, very critical. And referred to Peter David as a hypocrite. I turned to the guy and started to talk to him. The guy was kind of skeptical about me. He refused to answer me. A good friend of mine in America, at the moment listening to the speech, spoke to me after that and tell me what was expression on certain people's face was on that stage, because she was looking at it streaming on the stream. And I'm talking about somebody who knows Kit Mitchell like a brother, who used to campaign for Kit Mitchell, a strong supporter of the party for all the years, who knows the ins and outs of the party. The thing about it is that here you have a controversy and you're not hearing Peter David reclusing himself from it. There is something more I could say, and I don't want to say it today.
Yeah,
Mr.
after.
Pierre. I spoke to high-ranking members of the party. I'm not talking about people who support in the party. I'm talking about high-ranking members. I tell them the incident in which Peter David made a statement and reacted in a certain way. Something I said to a lot of people in this country since it happened. So it's not only party members I spoke to. Peter David, if he is honest, he will recluse himself from that holy see right now and stop that nonsense that is going on there. Mr. Pierre, let's not Peter David is trying to fool people. Pure and simple. I have no apology to make to anybody for it. And if you want me to come out and say,
we're going to have some more discussion after.
Do it anytime.
Yeah.
I think
I say it's a topic we could discuss again after the convention.
That's what I prefer to do.
Yeah.
I kind of want to prefer to do it
yes,
now. That
yes.
But the fact that I could tell people Peter David is not a genuine person, Peter David is not an NNP, pure and simple. I'll stop on that point.
Yes, the number to call is 4420175, and you could speak on any topic that you want. You know, we must be prepared to discuss issues, and we have to be tolerant. We can't be too angry. We must advance justification and reason when we make big position. We take big position. You hear me call Dick a vulture, and I tell you why. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
And how are you?
Great, man.
You know, you're that star. I wonder if you know that.
No, I just ordinary rustic of nondescript breed.
That is what you always see. That's what you always see, but that's not what it is at all. You know, when I tell you something, listen to me and just say yes all the time. Because what I try to do almost every time I listen to somebody, I get into the brain. I do that very fast. Because my thing is analyzing people, assessing people, and assessing situations. So I get it fast.
You have to speak a little louder for us to hear.
Yeah, I said my thing is to assess people. I get inside people's brain very, very quickly. And assess them, analyze them, and, I could write that down and make it happen. You know, this guy who spoke to you, and I never knew his name, but I think I knew his name now. He said he lived in St. Davis for some time. I recognize that I believe the guy knows me. I don't know him, but I remember in the early days when I did my tourism project in UK there, and I put it on fire for putting the project together. He's one of the guys that was very skeptical and did advise the government to investigate the area with a view to actually maybe stop the project because there's a lot of smoke. But I like the guy. He's a very, very objective guy. I know he's listening now. I like his leanings. But I doesn't really like to discuss those things with anybody at all, except off air,
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, I am very worried about the situation that I see developing here. It didn't start now. Because, my thing is the economy, management, leadership, rules, responsibility, accountability to the citizens. My thing is we have to pay more attention to the economic development of the citizen more than anything else, because that is where our revenue is going to come from. But I find these days we're going down a road that I'm wondering where we're going to get the money from to fund it. That is the socio safety net. That safety net is broadening. It seems as though we want to give everybody a hamper. We want to give everybody a few dollars, young as they are, so they don't need to work. Where would that money come from as we expand that social program we call safety net? We're taking the revenue generated by our tax system and put it back into the hands of people without paying attention to the growth and development of the economy that should bring back the revenue. That money goes down in sardine and corned beef, spaghetti, macaroni, rice, flour. All those things is what? Capital flight. We don't produce those things. And even though we are going to consume what we produce, which is the tuna, the yam, and so forth, that's becoming more expensive too. And even some of the foreign remittances we're getting going into the purchase of those things, and all this capital side. So we actually exported money at an alarming rate, not paying attention to the growth and development of the economy to have a buoyant commerce that will bring a constant stream of revenue. I am worried because even the tourism sector is not growing. All the beaches, East Coast, is dirty. No roads, no water, electricity, toilet and bath facility on those beaches. Put in a hotel in a narrow space and not having the facility, the area for these people to enjoy themselves and to create revenue, foreign exchange, not foreign exchange, but local funds or employment for local people on these beaches where they could employ themselves. We're not contemplating on that. But if you look at our expenditure side, it's not matching up with the revenue side of the economy. The revenue side of the economy is almost flat, but the expenditure side is growing. What would happen if we cannot find revenue to fund the expenditure side? And so I'm always begging our leaders, begging even the business people, pay attention to the expansion and growth of the economy, putting into commerce, creating jobs, so that we can create revenue. Because if we fail to do those, I am not an economist. I'm just a guy who is trying to use my brain, But if we fail to address those things, we all going to be sorry. It's all well and good to put programs together, training people and not being able to put them to work, It's all well and good doing that. So we have people very, very, very bright, and they're hungry, But the consequences of all of this, we all going to feel it. And I'm warning, let us pay attention to the serious growth and development of the economy. And when I said some people want me to explain what is the economy, but by now everybody should know the arms of the economy which produces the revenue and those that produce the expenditure side. So I don't have to go explain. Google that and they will know. But it is serious, and we're going on a serious road, and if we're not careful, we're all going to cry.
I'm in full agreement with you, Color. I'm in full agreement with you. And I believe our people are supposed to be concerned, and we must be able to discuss the government policy on housing based upon the different message we're getting and what we see the government doing. The housings are not geared for the people in the lower income group. If you're building houses for over $100,000, obviously, it is not for the people in the lower income group. It's for people who normally the commercial banks like. So why the government should be using scarce resources to compete with the commercial banks? The government houses must be geared for the people who cannot go in the commercial banks. We have to be concerned when your members of government, the rumors, the speculation around, the information on the ground is that your government is accepting expensive gifts from powerful companies. That is bribery. We are hearing, we begging, we asking, government not answering. 30,000 US. We are concerned. We are worried. We frightened. When government is not, somebody seems, or there is a third party directing your foreign affairs. They trouble with capital T. If you have a third force directing your foreign affairs, what price did the Prime Minister and his team receive? Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Pierre, and how are you?
Great man, good man.
Mr. Pierre, I'm very proud today, and I'm very, very happy to know that we have a good leader, a wonderful leader for 40 years in the NNP party. And now he said he's going to resign, take his post sitting down, and to watch the NNP party grow. Now, it is a privilege to know
woman is going to be endorsed for leadership, a leadership position in the NMP party. You know, this world is a man's game. It's a man world, men ruling. And it's very, very difficult for women to stand together with the men. And today in the Caribbean, you see women is rising up. They're not just rising up to be a part of the solution. They want to be leaders of the party, leaders of the NMP party. We are proud to know that. Because you see, in England, the first woman leader, she rose up and she stands firm. And she ruled England for a long time until she became ill and she had to depart from that. She stopped. But today...
You're talking about Margaret Thatcher?
Yes.
But what's about all the queen and them? There's leaders too.
There
was leaders too. You have to give them that.
Yes, they've been there for 30
years. Yeah, but I understand.
But the privilege goes to a woman.
Yeah.
When she stand up, she become a woman of substance. Going to do something.
And she was very powerful.
Very.
Margaret Thatcher, Golden Mayor in Israel.
Exactly.
Yeah, then you find the one in India.
Right.
And you had Eugenia Charles.
The one in Germany. The one in Germany.
The one in Germany was a powerful one too.
She's a powerful woman.
And we had Margaret Thatcher in England, Eugenia Charles.
Dominica.
And all women, but in all fairness to Grenada man, I don't let you get away with it. We have always supported our women.
I do agree.
One individual just remind me that all the magistrates are women.
No, the women get a chance to stand firm.
Right.
So
we are not doing that. Position. So we are not promoting Emmeline Pierre to get back at men. Because the men have always been supported.
Mr. Pierre, I had the privilege to meet both of them. And I love them very dearly.
I agree with you.
Peter David. Yeah. And I love Emily Pierre. But at the same time...
You want a woman now?
To the people.
You want a woman now?
I'm not saying that.
And she's younger. And she's younger. And maybe could spend 10, 15 years in the political arena.
Once she have the qualification, and I know she have good backing behind her.
She good.
She have a man who is strong and powerful.
Yeah.
But whosoever fit the position, we leave it to the people. God will put the desire into the people's heart to pick a leader for the NMP party, right? And I quite agree with that. If I was there too, I'm still struggling who to pick. But I know sometimes when my heart is leaning.
Yeah, I know. Your heart leaning on the woman.
Amen.
But we will support, but the country must support anybody who wins. Because that is democracy.
The country have the privilege to stand up.
Democracy.
And to do something what is right. Let democracy take place.
That did,
and it will take place on Sunday. And a new leader will arise. Whosoever it is, a new leader will arise. And we will stand with the leader. They're not fighting for different opposition. They're all in the same party. And whosoever arises, we make sure we rally behind that person. Help them out. Stand with them. Sometimes, as I said, as a woman, we like women. Sometimes a man. But whosoever God say that who should be leader of the opposition party, I will stand with them because they're all in the party. Grenada is too small for all these 2, 3, 4, 5 different parties.
No, 2 is enough. 2 is enough.
2 is enough.
Yeah.
2 is enough. Because lots of people live in Grenada and they're running away. Right? So 2 parties is enough. So I wish Emily Pierre good luck. I wish her all the best. I wish God to bless her and bless the people who supporting her. I wish Peter David the same. God to bless him too. And bless the people who supporting him too. And we lift up each and every of them because these are our people. They come from our party, the new national party. And God bless Dr. Keith Mitchell. He did a fantastic job. Mr. Faye, have a nice day. God bless you too.
Yes, yeah, there is no question about it. Dr. Mitchell did an exceptionally good job. What I like about Dr. Mitchell is his level of tolerance. His level of tolerance. I like that about him. He's not vindictive as other leaders. Yes, scholar, welcome. And using last scholar for the day, Punch.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, People mustn't put people in place because them is a woman. They must put people in place based on their qualification. Not because he's a woman, you give a position. That biasness, Sir Pierre, I want you to tell me what is FNP objective, what she lead in this country. Tell me.
A nice question. Yes, that is a nice question, but we're coming to the end of the show, so I will tell you. Yeah.
What she lead, whatever she did in this country.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. Yeah. I didn't want. Yeah.
Listen, I guy speak and he don't know what.
We're coming to the end of the show, and you ask me a question, and I want to answer you. That is a nice question you asked there, and I was avoiding adding me 2 pence on those leaders. But you asked those questions, and since you're asking about her qualification and what she did, she much more qualified than a lot of individuals on the NDC time. This sister started up active in organization group and started with youths. I think that is where the politicians saw her and became attracted to her. She was working with young people in the prison. That was not because of politics, because of her own initiative. I remember attending a session where she had for the elderly people, and I think it was Rotary Alliance or something. She had a session for some elderly people. And I went there because 2 elderly people wanted to go, but the children was not going in this old people thing. But she had young people entertaining the elderly. And I look and I said, this is remarkable. And at that age. And then she was involved, I remember, Baby Killer. She was asking Baby Killer to change his name, the group of them. Don't call yourself Baby Killer. Because as you go older, that name would not suffice. And they were saying, let us select a name for you. Because they was very comfortable with Baby Killer. And this individual, so I give you that. That alone, I would gravitate to her. Because of her role, the role she started was not because of politics. It was an individual that saw a need and decided to do what she could to help. Her role in politics is well marked out and remarkable. In the field of youth, she spent a long time there. In the field of education, I was very pleased with her in education. So I think she is more than qualified to lead the political party. And as I said before, the NNP is very fortunate to have several people within that political party. The last time I made a check was about 15 of them. I would close my eyes and select as a leader, and they would do much better than Dr. Deceiver, than that vulture, poor people terrorists. They would do much better than Dick Mitchell that is promoting classism and want to establish restorative justice. Thank you very much. And we're back with you again next week, Monday, for another opportunity on Target. Thank you.